What you gonna do? Well, hello everyone. How you doing? It's Friday. The strong end of the week is here. Here in America, it's a holiday weekend, 3 days. So hope you're doing well and welcome everyone. Man, full room. Franny, how you doing? I know you're back here. Bruce, good to see you. I've seen you in a while. And Nina, the Mystic, how are you? Mr. Money, good to see you as well. DuPage Trading Points, peace. Rachel, good to see you. Michael, it's good to see you. Carol, good to see you as well. EO, got your email. That's a long one, buddy. I'm getting through it, but powerful what I've read so far. Enlightened Frog. A high five on that one. Now that's just cool. Come on. Tim, good to see you, and Joyce and Nina again. Hypnotherapy. Pixie, good to see you. Hadley, hello. Dwayne Copeland, good to see you. Ian and Heidi. Girl with no name, Spooner, how are you doing? Lost in Space. How you doing, TT? Good to see you. Just cruising along. Love it. Low rider. Anyway, Franny, Sherry, David, good to see you, and Jeannie as well. Thank you to all the moderators. Y'all are the best. Want to say hello to, I think it's Lyndall, as well as to Julie, and to all we got a large group, folks, down in Australia, Queensland. I went and looked at where people are tuning in at. Good, a lot of people in Australia. Fuji, who'd have thought? Canada, hello, South America, Europe, Indonesia. So welcome. Got people all over the world. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of this community that's growing. Those of you who are new here, you'll find that this is a loving group of people. A lot of empaths here, and we have all of the attributes. Healers, we have seers, we have intuitives, we have adapts, we have initiates, and we have those who are just looking in the window. So welcome, everybody. So good to see you. Karen Steele, how are you doing? David Castle, hello. So let me just invoke favor. Strong favor. You know, the strong type of favor, it's like have you ever had chicory? It's a coffee. I don't know what it is. They serve it down in Louisiana, and the South is where, I'll guarantee you this, it'll make a spoon stand up straight. Anyway, that type of strong favor. And just overwhelming prosperity and complete restoration. All that's been taken from you, stolen from you, that which the cankerworm has eaten, the locust has come through and wiped out. The harvesters you never were allowed to harvest, may they be brought forth back into your barns and storehouses. Nothing missing, nothing broken. So how's that? You know what? I got some cool stones. Aren't these like these are like most, is this just not like the coolest stone? I mean, seriously, it's got some fantastic energy to it. It really does. It's quite amazing. Anyway, want to say hello to Brian and his mom. His mom is in transitioning now. Spoke to Milky Way, Brian. He's going to have a show on Saturday night. Make sure tune over there, over at Milky Way Weekly. Love you, Brian. And Brian Lunsford as well. His mom is seeing a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm looking forward to when Brian gets back for us. And Patrick, we love you. Thinking of you. The universe is thinking of you. Angie's thinking of you. So hope to see you real soon. Thank you, Lisa. You know, that's what we do here. Blanca, how are you doing? Sent you an email today. Freeman King, good to see you. Um, yeah, is that not just like the coolest rock? I mean, seriously, I got these and like I've never seen rocks like this. I mean, they are like the coolest stones. I mean, they really are. So, yeah, anyway, far out. That's all I got to say. Caught your radio show. Hey, yeah, I'll tell you, we had Nancy. We're going to have Nancy back on. Holy crap. If you missed that show last night over on the Steiger Perspective over at artistfirst.com, go and check it out. Wow. That Nancy has got just this reservoir of knowledge and understanding. And, you know, folks, we're in we're in perilous times. I'm telling you. You look at the food supply and it's like, crap. What's up with that? Today's t-shirt is Friday. So Friday, I give to Lilith. This is Lilith's sigil. Let me see if I can get it all the way for you. There you go. That's her sigil. And because we're going to be talking about sigils today, about how important sigils are. And in fact, I'm going to tell you this weekend, no matter where you are in the world listening to this, thank you for listening, by the way. I want you to go out and just take the casual survey of the cars driving by you. Every car has a sigil on it. Now, it's real interesting. In the early days, the sigils were more iconic. Chrysler, you know, had the god Mercury. Mercury had the god Mercury as their hood ornament. And as the Eastern influence and rise in economic, Japan, Korea, others, they've known this. They put sigils on every one of their products. And if you buy a car today, every car has a sigil on it now. We live in a world where sigils, and what is the purpose of a sigil? Well, protection is one, but it's also opens portals, energies. We're going to learn a lot about this today. So I don't want to take too much more time talking here. Talk about blasphemy of God. I don't know. You know, I was thinking about this today when I was meditating that. So what is God? You ever thought that? You know, the indoctrination we take so often, it's like, it's very ambiguous. Well, you know, God is God. Well, yeah, but what is that? Well, it's unfathomable. Well, how did you come across it then? How do you know that this cat that you believe in is the right one? Well, because God said so. You see? Anyway, I used to draw sigils on my school books. Yeah. In fact, Dave, it's very interesting that you bring that up. Children, we call it doodling, but it's actually, if we were teaching our children correctly, they would, I believe, by the natural stance of what they are, would draw their own sigils. I have not, girl with no name. I'll have to check that out. Everything. Well, I think, though, everything is limiting. Even all. That's the problem with language. The verbal language of using phonetics sucks because they say that the closest we ever got as a species was the ancient Greek in knowing how to express ourselves very specifically. Anyway, so let's get on with the affirmation. My life is changing. I've gotten some emails from a few others that said that as well, that things are changing. I'm loving this. I really am loving this. So we're going to go through this. We're going to stick to this. Yeah, I know Saturday and Sundays will be a break, but hey, here's where the honor system comes in, right? All right, let's get to it real quick. God is lavish. God is everything. God is lavish. Unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as moi, me, you, baby, the reality of me. Wayne's World. Anyway. 2, I lift up my mind and heart to be aware, to understand, and to know that the divine presence, I am, that's the I am, is the source and substance of all my good. I am conscious of the inner presence as my lavish abundance. I am conscious of the constant activity of the mind of infinite prosperity. Therefore, my mind is filled with the light of truth. Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within, as my source, I bring into my mind and feeling nature, the very substance of spirit. This is substance. The substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. Like walking out today, if there was a perfect day of weather, it's what we have here today. Anyway, we continue. Money is not my supply. That's very important. In all cultures today, money is everything. At least that's the way you're taught. You're driven. You're programmed. You know, they say love is what makes the world go round, but sweetheart, it's money that buys the first class ticket. Anyway, no person, place, or condition is my supply. My understanding and knowledge of the all providing activity of the divine within me is my supply. My consciousness of this truth is unlimited. It means that you can never stay stagnant in your beliefs. You can't believe in the ultimate of all beliefs. That would be impossible. I digress. 6, my inner supply instantly and constantly takes on form and experience based on my needs and desires, not yours, mine. As the principle of supply and action, it is impossible for me to have any needs or unfulfilled desires. 7, the divine consciousness that I am is forever expressing its true nature of abundance. This is its responsibility, not mine. My only responsibility is to remain aware of this truth, is to remain calm of mind. That's my commentary. Therefore, I am totally confident in letting go and letting God appear as the abundant of all sufficiency in my life and my affairs. My consciousness of the spirit within me as my unlimited source is the divine power that will, that's what I put in there, restore the years the locusts have eaten, the cankerworm, as I said earlier. It makes all things new and places me on the high road to abundant prosperity. I would say that if a person is of a higher consciousness, I'd say they're on a higher road of abundant prosperity, wouldn't you? This awareness, understanding, and knowledge of spirit appears as every visible form and experience I could possibly desire. When I'm aware of the God self within me as my total fulfillment, I'm fulfilled. I am now aware of the truth. I have found the secret of life, the knowledge that the activity of divine abundance is eternally operating in my life. I simply have to be aware of the flow, the radiation of that creativity, which is continuously, easily, and effortlessly pouring forth from my divine consciousness. I am now aware. I am now in the flow. I keep my mind and thoughts off this world, and I place my entire focus on the divine presence within me as the only cause of my prosperity. I acknowledge the inner presence as the only activity in my financial affairs as the substance of all things. I place my faith in the principle of abundance in action within me. Far out. That's all I got to tell you, folks. This is energy changing stuff. All right, let's get on to, I got a letter from Source. Check this out, folks, seriously. All right. Good afternoon, my amazing children. I come to you on this beautiful afternoon, lighthearted and full of joy and love. I just wanted to talk to you today about something that you as a species seem to have so much trouble grasping. Something that to us is quite amusing. You all have a term that you like to use quite often, especially when it comes to not knowing what someone wants you to do because they have not told you exactly what it is they want you to do. You do know what term we are speaking of here. One of your favorite terms, especially when you are talking to your spouses or partners. I'm not psychic. Do you know how funny that is? That saying is to us? You see, you use this term so often, and yet it is so far from the truth. Most of you just don't realize that you are all psychic. You all have the power to know exactly what everyone else around you is thinking if you wanted to. This is how we communicate with you and with each other. We do not have a spoken language here, which is why we have to speak to you through these means. Most of you do not pay attention to us when we try to speak to you through thought and through the pictures we transmit to your brain. Too many of you are too worried about what others are going to label you as if they found out the thoughts that you were having. This is what holds you back. You care too much about what everyone else thinks of you. Let it go. You do not hurt anyone but yourself by trying to appease the rest of humanity. Do they have to live your life? Do they have to deal with your thoughts? Do they have to walk your path? No, they don't. So why do you let them turn you into what they want you to be? And not just yourself. The only way that you will ever be set free is to let go. There is only one person in your life that will be there for you every single moment of your life. That person's you. The only person that will always believe in your abilities, always know what you know, always look out for you, and never leave you is yourself. Every other person in your life will leave you at some point, whether physically or emotionally. Every single thing in this life will one day be gone. And the only thing that will remain from this reality is you, your spirit, your soul, your thoughts, your love, your memory. The last two being left in the hearts and minds of those that you touched and still remain. I know I got a little off track there, my children, but it was important for a lot of you to hear this. We know this touched many of you because Joshua is sitting here right now with a smile on his face, without a care in the world. He was one that needed to hear this message. He feels so relieved right now. So much weight just lifted from his shoulders, just as it has for many of you at this moment. Doesn't it feel good to just let go and not worry yourself about what everyone else thinks? Okay, enough feeling good about yourself. Just kidding. You always should feel good about yourself. It is the biggest secret to a happy life. Now, back to what I was originally talking to you about. You all are psychic. You all have the ability to know everything. You just need to teach yourself how to tap into it all. You need to learn to control it. Have you ever thought of someone and then all of a sudden they call you? What do you think is happening here? You can be hundreds or even thousands of miles away from someone and think about them, and all of a sudden they call you. This is no coincidence. There is no such thing as coincidence. This is you reaching out to them with thought, which, by the way, travels faster than the speed of light. Don't tell the scientists that you will pop their bubble. In fact, it's coming out. I watched a video today talking about this very thing. Folks, this is not in the letter, but I just have to comment on this. We're learning something. You know, the whole thing of that entanglement theory, that an electron, a photon, can be on the other side of the known universe, and yet its its pair, will know exactly what it's doing at all times. This is why we study magic. You reach out to them and they get the thought that you would like to talk to them and they call you. The same thing happens when you hope to see someone and all of a sudden, a little while later, there they are. Or even when you want to hear a song on the radio and then the next second, that song comes on. You see, my children, the power that you have is so amazing and so great. You just need to start believing in yourself and stop believing that anyone else knows better than you do. You will always know what is best for you. No one else can ever tell you what is best for you because they are not you. Well, at least they're not you in this current reality. There is nothing that you can't do, my children. Remember, I am you, you are me, and we are one. We are always here for you. Believe in yourself. If you cannot believe in yourself, how can you believe in anything else? And I want to add this to Mama Source's letter here. If you don't believe in yourself, how the hell can you believe in a God? You hypocrite, get right with yourself. If you don't believe in yourself totally, how can it be carried over to anything greater than yourself or lesser? I digress. I love you, darlings, and I am so proud of you. You are all progressing so quickly. We will speak again soon. We love you, Mama Source. So I just found that just to be absolutely so cool. I love those letters. They are, to me, just pure gold. That's all I can say. It's just amazing. It's cool. So, but listen, I want to talk a second here about believing in ourselves. We're bombarded with so much doubt, so much self-criticism, so much disbelief in ourselves. And when that happens, you have a lot of broken souls. People who are depressed, people who are anxious, people who can't control their thoughts, their emotions. Why? It's a question. Hey, Milky Way, how you doing? Eyes to see, good to see you. So, all right, this is going to be so cool. I read a little bit of it yesterday, and I got about 9 different emails saying, please, would you read that whole document, the book you were reading? Well, we are. But I want to bring some history because this book has some history to it. You look at Mr. Lovejoy. He actually got a lot of his information from his books from here. And I found that was pretty interesting, that he took back in the 20s, 1923, when he wrote his books, from a document most people had no idea existed. So let's find out a little bit about the cat that we're dealing with here, because he's a rather cool dude. His name is, they called him the Mad Prophet, is Al-Zif, and he wrote the cipher manuscript known as Necronomicon. Now, this is interesting. Al-Hazred was a mad poet of Siena in Yemen. It goes back to about 723 AD. He visited the ruins of Babylon and the subterranean secrets of Memphis and spent 10 years alone in the great southern desert of Arabia. Wow. We've got to stop and think about this. Most of us have no idea to how to give any basis into reality of this unless you've been in the desert. I hitchhiked through the desert twice. Knowing the times of the year is very important. So anyway, he had to know things. He would be, in all definition, a mystic, a magi. Anyway, the Roba El Kahale, or empty space of the ancients, and Dehana, or the Crimson Desert of the modern Arabs, which is held to be inhabited by protective evil spirits and monsters of death. Of this desert, many strange and unbelievable marvels are told by those who pretend to have penetrated it. Now, a little note here. How many of you remember the Lilith? Where does she a lot of times meet the travelers? This same desert. It's exactly the same desert being referenced here. So there has to be something still, I think, today. Although the politics have changed, I don't know if they've changed all that much. In his last years, Alahazred dwelt in Damascus. Of his final death or disappearance, very interesting, 738 AD, many terrible and conflicting things are told. He is said by the Ibn Khalakhan, the 12th century biographer, to have been seized by an invisible monster in broad daylight and devoured horribly before a large number of fright-frozen witnesses. I guess so. Of his madness, many things are told. He claimed to have seen the fabulous Iram, or city of pillars, and to have found beneath the ruins of a certain nameless desert town the shocking annals and secrets of a race older than mankind. He was only an indifferent Muslim, worshiping unknown entities whom he called Yog Sothoth, and Cthulhu. We're going to learn about these two. Now, to an indoctrinated mind, you would write this guy off as some quack. He wasn't. I happen to think that he, in fact, did see all this. We're studying now the ignorance of religion and its constraints freezes the mind. Now, understand, Islam was just getting started. So he would not have been a Muslim per se. If he was one of the first. Now, this is a Shantka. It's relatively to the size. It was a creature. You can see it has some resemblances to where we get dragons. They were here at one time. Some contend they're still here, just in a different phase shift. This is another character we're going to learn about. His name is, as I heard yesterday, Azazoth. Weird character. That's his sigil. Little is known about the being called Azoth, also known as the blind, formless chaos that lies beyond the stars, the blind idiot god, the demon sultan, and the primal chaos. It, for neither he nor she seems appropriate, is an outer god belonging to a group of immensely powerful yet inscrutable beings called the Elder Mythos, or the gods of the dark tapestry. Azoth is described as a gibbering mass of uncontrollable destructive power at the center of the universe. We would call it a black hole. Azoth is believed to be totally indifferent to the cosmos and may not even be aware of its own existence. Azoth's holy symbol is an 8-pointed star. This is the artist's rendition of what this, whatever it is. There are those spirits, those energies that have no form. And those that do have a form, that if man saw them, would steal the heart of any human being. Now, we're going to learn another one about the Yog Sothoth, is an outer god, one of the ancient eldritch entities of tremendous power that dwell within the dark tapestry. And I think you could see that the dark tapestry to me is a metaphor for the universe. He is said to be a terrible, self-aware manifestation of the dimension of time. I do believe that there are dimensions where time is not part of the equation. Self-aware manifestation of the dimension of time. How would time represent itself? That's a question. Yog Sothoth's appearance is described as a congeries of iridescent spears. A congregation of iridescent spears. Isn't that something? A conglomeration of glowing balls of various size and colors. Orbs. Yog Sothoth is said to be Saturnius, with all of space and time. In other words, it flows in frequency. And therefore, common beliefs among members of the old cults are that Yog Sothoth is either the dark tapestry itself, a sapient embodiment of the material plane, some kind of living, intelligent, neighboring, transitive plane simultaneously with our own, or some other aspect of reality apart from our own material plane. Yog Sothoth can exist in multiple times and places at once, but it seems that either he cannot properly intrude upon the material plane, or perhaps he can, but has no reason to do so. And this is what this thing looks like. I could see that. I mean, when you take the size of a man, the universe makes us look insignificant. So that is my little introduction. So when we get into this, you can have some reference to what this document says. So let's get into this. I told you this stuff is really far out. To me, it's just cool. So now we know what the cipher is. We know where it starts. And so let's get into this and review yesterday, because now it really takes on a whole lot more. And folks, we'll get through this. This is going to blow your mind. Of ye old ones and their spawn. The old ones were, the old ones are, and the old ones shall be. From the dark stars they came here before man was born, unseen and loathsome. They descended to primal earth. Very interesting term there. Beneath the oceans, they brooded while ages passed, till the seas gave up the land, and whereupon they swarmed forth in their multitudes, and darkness ruled the earth. At the frozen poles, they raised mighty cities, and upon high places the temples of those whose nature owns not, and the gods have cursed. You know, I always thought that was really interesting in the book of Enoch, because the story of Enoch says that, you know, when the fallen angels here and they mated with, you know, women and their offspring, it said that God said, I didn't create those things. They got no part of me in them. He called them bastards, which indicates that you can create life outside of God. And here is exactly this. The frozen poles, isn't it interesting? I wonder if there's some correlation to the stories of the master race that lives in Antarctica. I don't know. And the spawn of the old ones covered the earth, and their children endure throughout the ages. Now, remember the Shantaks? We saw what they look like. Of Ling are the work of their hands. The Ghost who dwell in Zen's primordial vaults know them as their lords. They have fathered the Nahag and the Gaunts that ride the night. Great Catholicus, their brother, the Shaggoths, their slaves. The Dulls do homage unto them. In the nighted vile of Poth and Gugs sing their praises beneath the peaks of ancient Throck. They have walked amidst the stars, and they have walked the earth. Can we say ET? Does that sound like an extraterrestrial race? Again, children, extraterrestrial race. Legends of the Cedars, legends of wars that happened in a time that, well, we read in our sacred books. Ling, the city Aviram in the great desert has known them. Ling in the cold waste has seen their passing. The timeless citadel upon the cloud-veiled heights of unknown Kadath beareth their mark. Wantonly, the old ones trod the ways of darkness, and their blasphemies were great upon the earth. All creation bowed beneath their might and knew them for their wickedness. Sounds a lot like the fallen angel, doesn't it? And the elder lords opened their eyes. Now, I always found that one strange. I actually highlighted that for a reason. You know, in the Emerald tablets, Thoth said the same thing. The elders, they sleep. Time passes. For them, time doesn't pass at all. And even in the Bible, the Quran, and even in the Hindu books, these gods sleep. Kind of blows the whole omnipresent thing out. Anyway, I digress. And beheld the abominations of those that ravaged the earth. In their wrath, they set their hand against the old ones, staying them in the midst of their iniquity and casting them forth from the earth to the void beyond the plains where chaos reigns and form abideth not. I tell you, Lilith showed me this in a dream. This is a place, I'll give you a reference to, if you ever saw the movie Beetlejuice, and you saw them when they went in to, to talk to the counselor, their counselor when they died. And that was remember the Hall of the Lost Souls? They said it's like the second death to ghosts. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. It's a place that you can send spirits. I think I've inadvertently actually done it. It makes a lot of spirits not want to be around you. And the elder lords set their seal upon the gateway, their sigil, and the power of the old ones prevaileth not against its might. Lonesome Kothlu rose then from the deeps and raged with exceeding great fury against the earth guardians. Who are the earth guardians? And they bound his venomous claws, you saw what they looked like, with potent spells, and sealed him up within the city of Rial, where beneath the waves he shall sleep death's dream until the end of the eon. Do you fear death? You shouldn't. Do you fear going to sleep at night? Same thing. Beyond the gate dwell not the old ones, now the old ones, not in the spaces known unto men, but in the angels between them. Outside of earth's plane, they linger and ever await the time of their return. For the earth has known them and shall know them in a time yet to come. I often wonder about this. Is that time? I mean, even if you remember the Lord of the Ring trilogy, the Hobbit series, the whole thing at the end was that the fairies, the wizards, the orcs, all of them were going to be fading out because the age of man had descended upon earth. If there's an age of man that we descended, there's going to be another one where we're going to get the hell out of here. And the old ones had foul and formless Azoth for their master, and abide with him in the black cavern at the center of all infinity. Sounds like a black hole to me. And where he gnaws ravishly in ultimate chaos amid the mad beating of hidden drums and the tuneless piping of hideous flutes and the ceaseless bellowings of blind idiot gods that shamble and gesture aimlessly forever. The soul of Azoth dwelleth in Yog Soth, and he shall beckon unto the old ones when the stars mark the time of their coming. For Yog Sothoth is the gate through which those of the void will re-enter. Yog Sothoth knoweth the mazes of time, for all time is one unto him. He knows where the old ones came forth in time a long, long past, and where they shall come forth again when the cycle returns. After day comes night, man's day shall pass, and they shall rule where they once ruled. As foulness, you shall know them, and their accursedness, they shall stain the earth. Now, we went through the whole thing yesterday on the different zodiac signs. We got to get into this. Is so cool, folks. To raise up your stones, to form your gate through which they from the outer void might manifest, thou must set up the stones in the 11-fold configuration. First, you shall rise up your 4 cardinal stones, and these shall mark your direction and your 4 winds as they howleth through their seasons. To the north, set the stone of the great coldness that shall form the gate of the winter wind, engraving thereupon the sigil of the earth bull, which is the Taurus sigil. In the south, at a space of 5 paces from the stone of the north, you shall rise a stone of fierce heat, through which the summer winds bloweth, and make upon the stone the mark of the lion serpent, the Leo sigil. The stone of whirling air shall be set in the east, where the first equinox rise, and shall be graven upon the sign of that beareth the waters, thus the Aquarius sigil. The gate of rushing torrents you shall cause to beat the westmost inner point at a space of 5 paces from the stone of the east, where the sun dieth in the evening, and the cycle of night returns, blazing the stone with the characters of Scorpion, whose tail reaches into the stars. So it's the Scorpio sigil. Set thou the 7 stones of those that wander through the heavens, without the inner 4, and through thy diverse influences shall the focus of power be established. So if you followed this right and have put the sigils on them, you have now set up a vortex, so to speak. Not a portal yet, but it's getting there. Now, in the north, beyond the stone of great coldness, set the first stone of Saturn at a space of 3 paces. This being done, proceed thou Wandersons, placing at like distances apart the stones of Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Sol, the moon, and Sol, the sun, and Luna, the moon, marking each with their rightful sign, sigils. At the center of the so completed configuration, set the altar of the great old ones, and seal it with the symbol of Yog Sothoth, that the mighty names of Azoth, Kothru, Hastar, Shub, Nagoth, and Nylarthrot, and the stones shall be the gates through which you shall call them forth from outside man's time and space. Entreat ye the stones by night, and when the moon decreases in her light, turning your face to the direction of their coming, speaking the words and making the gestures that bring forth the old ones and cause them to walk once more on earth. So this is the sigil of Yog Sothoth. Folks, wait till you see these hand signals. This is going to blow. When I said, what? Okay. So this is, again, the sigil with all of the planets. Sun and moon. Now, and let me just get to you so you can see it. Check these out. So here it is, folks. The authenticity of this document, well, it may not be as plain as the Liber Lilith, but it's damn close. So now you know the signs. I want you to see these signs of Vor, Kish, Koth, and the Elder. Some of these I always thought was the Boy Scouts, right? Another one. Who'd ever thought that, and this one is hard for me to do. Let me see if I can do this one. So it's the middle finger with this out. There you go. Check that out. And here is the infamous horns. So now you know the signs of power. You ready? The most potent signs shall be so formed with thy left hand when thou employeth them in your rites. The first sign is that of Vor, and in nature it be the true symbol of the old ones. Make it thus whenever you would supplicate those that ever wait beyond the threshold. I'm telling this dude had to have been there. The second sign is that of Kish, and it breaketh down all barriers and opens the portals of the ultimate planes. This is deep stuff, people. In the third place goes the great sign of Koth, which seals the gates and guards the pathways. Again, there they are. The fourth sign is that of the elder gods. It protects those who would invoke the powers by night and banish the forces of menace and antagonism. Notes, the elder sign has yet another form, and so when inscribed upon the gray stone of the Manar, it serves to hold back the power of the great old ones for all time. And there is the sign, the sigil of the elders, the elder sign. This is the sign of Koth engraved. How many of you ever studied the angelic alphabet? I'll have to do it will be part of the Magick series. It's quite interesting. All right, so this is how we begin the invocation. We're going to go ahead and read it. In the day and the hour of Mercury, with the moon in her increase, you shall take equal parts of myrrh, I think that's civet, storax, wormwood, astaphodia, galbanum, and musk, mix well together and reduce all to the finest powder. Place the so assembled elements in a vessel of green glass and seal it with a brazen stopper, afore inscribed with the characters of Mars and Saturn. Elevate the vessel to the four winds and cry aloud the supreme words of power thus. To the north, and folks, we could try to do this phonetically, but it wouldn't be a fun experience. And needless to say, we don't want to piss them off. So anyway, get the PDF and you can have fun with the names. To the east, another group of three. To the south, another group of three. To the west, another group of three. So these are all powerful words. How they're pronounced, who knows? Cover the vessel with a cloth of black velvet and set aside. For each of 7 nights, you shall bathe the vessel in moonlight for the space of 1 hour, keeping it concealed beneath the cloth from the cockcrow till sunset. All this being accomplished, the incense shall be ready for use and possessed for such virtue, virtue that he that uses it with knowledge shall have power to call forth and command the infernal legions. It's true. Note, when employed in the ultimate rites, the incense may be rendered more efficacious by the addition of 1 part powder mummy Egyptus. I have no idea what that is. Employ the perfume of the Zakaba in all ceremonies of the ancient lore, casting the essences upon the live coals of yew or oak. And when the spirits draw near, the vaporous smoke shall enchant and fascinate them, binding their powers to your will. Editor's note. Note, in the published edition, a series of planetary glyphs and sigils are shown in reference to the above formula. These have been omitted as they are not illustrated in the original manuscript, but were provided from other unrelated texts by the publishers. Guess which one is made reference to? That Agrippa, we're going to get back to him on Monday. We haven't forgotten about him, but yeah, Agrippa, I don't know if he channeled, Al or not, to make the powder of the Ibn Ghazi, the mystic powder of materialization. Take the dust of the tomb, wherein the body has lain for 200 years or more past, 3 parts. Take of powdered armanath, 2 parts of ground ivy leaf, 1 part, and of fine salt, 1 part. Combined all together in open mortar in the day and the hour of Saturn. Make over the assembled ingredients, the Vorish sign, and then seal up the powder within the laden casket whereupon is graven the sigil of Koth. Using the powder, whenever thou wish to observe the aerial manifestations of the spirits, blow a pinch of the powder in the direction of their coming, either from the palm of thy hand or the blade of a magic knife, the bowling. Mark ye well that you maketh the elder sign at their appearance, lest the tendrils of darkness enter your soul. You're opening portals here, and I know we're getting close to this. The unction of Kephanes, the Egyptian, whosoever anointeth his head with the ointment of Kephanes shall in sleep be granted true visions of time yet to come. When the moon increases her light, place in an earthen crucible a goodly quality of oil of the locust, sprinkle it with once powdered mandragora, and stir well with the forked twig of the wild thorn bush. Having done so, utter the incantations of Yebish taken from the diverse lines of the papyrus, and you thus say, I am the Lord of Spirits, Ormadabiah, Sonadar, and Ipishkus. I am Eubaeus, I am Thoth, born of Bunini, Spear, Phaeus, and in the name of who knows, that's as long as our alphabet, and it says to give me the power. Anyway, pretty strong incantation. Now, going to go quick. I have this if you want this. Actually, I have the book. So these are the sigils. This is the alphabet, where you can actually learn the Sanskrit. He tells them how you can actually, and it was said that the Moses, the magician, could take symbols of words, and by arranging them in a certain sequence and order, it would open up portals. It's fed, in fact, and that's where it is said that he saw the temple, the Holy of Holies. So again, more spells, more opening of portals. It warns you pretty quickly here that if you're going to be doing this, you best be well protected, because they're real. Let's take a look at the other sigils. And again, I have no way of knowing how any of this is pronounced. If you figure it out, let me know. There's the circle of invocation. Same thing I'm wearing. To conjure up the globes, you can actually bring forth globes, these spears. It's a powerful book, folks. I'm running out of time here, but I wanted to make sure that everyone can get a chance. This is how you can actually, that's the sigil that you have to use to invoke them. They all have sigils. Apparently, these sigils are very important. Again, this is knowledge. Anyway, you look at it, at least 1,300 years old. There's the talisman of fee. The sigil of transformation. The sigil. Which one is this one? Interesting. And there we go. So, for what it is worth, folks, this is some of the most far out stuff I've seen. It's just, if they exist, if this does in fact exist, then it gives us the evidence that we have been seeking, that there is in fact something tangible other than our own perceptions of our own consciousness that awaits. And if it awaits, it tells me it's a lot more complicated than any of us have imagined. I think that that's the false security of religions, is that it says, don't worry about it, man. Come on, sign on, sign the bottom line here. Don't worry about it. When you get up there, heck, you're just going to want to praise all day long. And I ask people, do you praise all day long now? Do you stay in 24/7 constant prayer now? No. You'd become bored. And that's the worst thing for any God, is to become bored. So I'm just going to check out some of the chat room. It's amazing. I would put this on the level of the Liber Lilith. I found a lot of similarities. The names, I don't know. I think that's the problem. If we ever find the true names, maybe all this would work. I don't know if it would, because again, it's hard to say whether we have the accurate translation. How did they translate the words? There was one in there that had 23 consonant and vowels to it. How do you, yeah. So, bored gods become the blues. Isn't that a fact, EO? I love it. That's how the blues were born. So anyway, this is just, all I can say is just some of the most coolest stuff. Yeah, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But I can assure everyone here within, let's say by Halloween, we'll be pretty well down the road. And what I am hoping to do here is to bring balance to an unbalanced subject. You know, if you don't face your demons, then it's not going to go well for you. You know, always remember what Neo did with Mr. Smith. Bring it on. I think it's going to have to be where it is on the other side. I just don't think, if these things exist, folks, then we have got to prepare ourselves. All right, folks, have yourself a fantastic holiday if you're here in America. The rest of the world, have yourself a great, strong end of the week. Love yourself. Enjoy every minute. It's the experience, baby. When you check out, you're not going to have the time to do what you're doing now. So enjoy it. That's the thing. Love yourself, and you'll be surprised how quickly you find that people will love you. All right, folks, thank you. Appreciate it. We'll see you again, I think on Sunday, and I will do a show on Monday. All right. Peace out. Bye-bye. Let's do the sigil thing. No, let's just do peace. All right. Bye-bye, folks.